First we're going to get these ready for powder coating. So I'll clean them off, make sure they don't get any kind of oils on them or anything. You get quite a bit of oil and whatnot just by wiping those off. Then I put these plugs in there so they don't get no powder on the inside. Now I'm going to powder coat these. What it does is there's a grounding cable up here, and then these little hooks are metal, and then they ground into the brass. And then there's a positive charge with the powder gun, and it attracts the powder to the brass tubes. You can see this is actually a chrome powder here. Just depends what I'm going to use on top of here to depict what I use underneath. Sometimes I use black, white for wood ones, different colors. Now I put them in this rack, and they'll go in the oven for about 20 minutes at it's like 380 degrees or 390 degrees for about 20 minutes. Now I put them on this rack so the ends aren't touching anything, so the powder coat doesn't get rubbed off, because it's just barely on there. It's just like static electricity. You can see I also did a black one as well. I had to blow out the powder gun though before I did that. I just wait till this oven comes up to temperature, and like I said, it's like 380, 90, 400, right around in that area. And then they sit in there for about 20 minutes. And then I'll show them to you once I pull them out. Here they are out of the oven. Notice how the chrome got, it was sort of gray before I put it in there. Now it's very shiny. Let me put a light, see if I can put a light on it. But yeah, it gets, now don't confuse it with it's not chrome, obviously, but it does get quite shiny. And plus I'm wrapping it with whatever's on top. This is just in case something shows through the braid or whatever metal I'm putting over top of this stuff. Because it's braided, so it does have some pores to it, so you could actually see through it a little bit. Just got to take these ends out of here and the hook off, which is you just pull them off, and you just throw these away. Now I cut a piece of this copper off, and you'll notice it's flat, but it's actually hollow, as you can see. So you see all the little wires. It's just solid copper. It's a braid, and what I'll do is I'll have to flatten this out and get it all round again, and then I'll slide it over top of this tube. Once I get all that done, I'll bring you back so you can see that. Okay, now as you can see, I've stretched it over there, over the brass, over this tube, and then I zip tie the ends, and this has to be super tight, so I didn't do it on camera because it takes a lot to do, but you get the idea. So it's tight on here. Now here's another piece. Now this is copper, but it's heavily coated with real silver. This isn't chrome or anything. This is actual silver that's on this. So as you can see, the little wires up here. I don't know if you can pick that up. And now you can see I got the silver plated copper. You can actually, if you look at the ends of the copper here, I don't know if the camera picks this up, but you can see when you cut it, yeah, that's the copper in there. But this is real silver that this is plated with, so it's very nice. And also my carbon pens, which I'm not doing here today, is the carbon fiber ones. It's exactly the same process. Now you can see I have them hanging on this metal bar. I actually put a couple hooks on here. Same hooks I used when I was powder coating them. And now they're just hanging here, and I mixed up some resin here. And what I got to do is I'll brush it on here, and basically what this is like a sticky coat, and it seals the outside. But these aren't even close to being done, because this is just the start part of the resin. Then after this sets overnight, then I actually take them and then I cast them into a much bigger piece of resin. This is, like I said, it's just a preliminary type of thing to get it sealed up, so I can brush it real good and get it into the pores, so I don't have many air bubbles. I mean, there's always going to be a few tiny ones down in there, which you usually can't even see them, but I try to get them all out. But it's, you know, it's inevitable. It's not like a vacuum kind of thing here. So I'll go ahead and do that, and what I do is basically like what I said is I just brush the resin on, and then I'll do about 2 coats on each. Okay, I took them down. It's been about 24 hours since they've been sitting there. As you can see, this is like dripping off. This is at the bottom. Now I just gotta cut this apart, or cut the end. Well, I cut the other one. I cut one end off already. So. And then I just cut it down to the brass, and then I will cast these, and I'm not going to show the casting part. I'll show you once it's casted and probably cut into pieces. And here they are after they've been cast. You can see they took on a lot of size now. So you have to turn them down quite a bit. I mean, to get them to pen, but you want them quite a bit bigger than what you start up than what you need to end up with to get everything all nice and polished and everything. Now I'll start doing some sanding. And I have to continue doing that until I get it all leveled off with this rougher grit. Now what I do is I actually soak all these. There's a bunch of different ones. They're different colors for different grits. And I run through all these. Usually go through them once. Sometimes if I notice something, I'll go back through the last maybe 4 or 5 of the finer ones. I'm just going to show a little bit of this because, I mean, I don't know how fun watching somebody sand is going to be, but I'll give you an idea what I do here. let's do this several times. The first one is really the most critical one, I think, because then you get it conformed to what grain you're starting out at, and then each consecutive finer grain takes out the previous one's scratches until you get to a, it's not scratch free. I mean, it looks like that to your eyes, of course, and well, nothing's ever scratch free, but it takes it up to such a fine level that it's impervious to, you can't see the scratches in them. So, yeah, while they're there, if you had it under like some kind of a jeweler's loupe or something, I mean, it looks like glass. Just buffing the wax off. I just put some wax on here. It's just basically this kind is what I use. Let's see if I can bring this up here. It's Johnson's paste wax. Giant container, like $6. It's great. It's great wax for this sort of stuff. Let me pull this off here. Maybe you can see it better. See, it's nice and it's super shiny. No scratches. I mean, it's like glass. It looks like it's actually encased in glass. So I went and got a piece of the carbon too, as you can see. Since it's before long, it's just raw out of its casting. Got them all turned down. Here's what they look like after they're turned down. I'll show you how much thinner they get. See? Still frosty. They'll need. I gotta polish them. I'll show you that in a little bit. And grits, what I like to do is sort of drip water down in here, and then any grit that happen to come off one of these, it'll float to the bottom. That way I'm not working against myself. I'm finishing up with my last one before I do my inspection. What you're doing is you can see that they are, even with the water on them, you can see that they're getting quite shiny. But obviously I won't be able to really tell until I get the water off of them. I put a coat of wax on it. I use this kind. It's Johnson's paste wax. Just one coat. I'll show you that. That's it. And I'll buff it off. Turn that piece off. I'll buff it off. There they are. Now here are the pens after I pressed some parts into them. First one is this one. This is it's like a silver. It's what they call it. It's black titanium, is what it is. It's a slightly tinted silver, and it's got a silver band and a silver cap. And then these are, you can see it's just ever so slightly got like a black tint to it. It's very nice. And then these are, you can put that on the top of there. And then here's this one, which is just ridiculous. I mean, very nice. It's got glass crystals in it. This is a pretty expensive pen. I'm trying to be careful with it. There's a glass crystal there, and then there's a large glass crystal in the top, and then it's got glass crystals going all the way around the band. And this one is rhodium. Very shiny. Obviously you can write without the cap on it, but I'm just showing you that the cap does go on that. It's postable, they call that postable. I'll try to take a couple pictures of it. I mean, I don't know how well this camera does for, I'm going to take a couple real photos with it and see what they look like.